3-day visit of the Federal Assessment and Advisory Team on the implementation of Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus CARES program to Asaba, Delta State Capital, from Thursday, June 17th to Saturday, June 19th, 2021. The government of Delta State, under the watch of the smart governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, has consistently provided impactful opportunities in bringing prosperity to Deltans and residents in the state through robust local and global engagements. The Job Creation and Wealth Bureau, Ministry of Youth Development, and the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, amongst very many others, have been used as platforms in engaging so many unemployed Deltans towards not only curbing crime and youth restiveness, but bringing succor to many families in the state. Due to his passion and meaningful touch, the lives of those the COVID-19 pandemic has negatively affected, Governor Okowa did not hesitate to key into the World Bank intervention program called Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus, NG CARES, to help the poor, vulnerable households, the aged, physically challenged, and address loss of job, properties, and infrastructures, amongst others. To this end, the state government had quickly constituted a vibrant and dedicated team to domesticate the program in the state, and it has metamorphosed into Delta CARES or COA CARES, another avenue for numerous Deltans and residents to get relief from the pains of the pandemic. To attest to the readiness of the CARES in the state and to effectively collaborate with the federal government in officially launching of the program on the 30th of June 2021, the Federal Assessment and Advisory Team came to the state to ascertain its readiness and advise on the critical areas that may require improvement. On Thursday, June 17, 2021, the federal team, led by Mrs. Fatoki Olubukola Adepeju, visited the Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Chief Patrick Uka, and informed him of their visit to assess the readiness of the state government to implement the program in the state.
We are here to assess Delta State on the readiness to take the World Bank loan of $20 million to cushion the negative effect of COVID-19 pandemic on Nigerians, but for the Delta State chapter.
The SSG assured them that the state government had worked round the clock and was fully ready to implement the program, adding that relevant structures had been put in place to effectively implement the program for the envisaged 2-year period.
On what we're here from, I've heard elaborately the expansion of what Nigerian CARES is expecting. But I'm equally aware, because I've monitored, even as the Commissioner for Basic Education, who also participated in the COVID-19 programs of the state, that the economic planning and their team have been working seriously to make sure that we benefit from this World Bank assisted program. And even when the commissioners are not here, I'm equally aware that the PS has been on this project. You can also attest to our readiness with the fact that the team lead in the state is here with all the focal people, which are first and foremost attest to the fact that we understand the structure we need to put in place. And I think the basic thing is for you to find out what are those aspects that need to be in place to ensure that this funding is properly channeled and appropriately utilized is in place. So with the structure you see here, you can see the confidence that Delta State is ready, but we will not just say it. I know you are going to go around, and I know most of the faces that are handling different aspects, that you'll be satisfied at the end. So once again, I want to say welcome, and I wish you the best as we look forward to see that Delta State is tipped as one of the best in this country, as usual.
The state coordinator of the CARES program, Lady Patience Ogbewe, gave more insights into his activities at the occasion.
The program actually originally is called the Nigeria COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, and is being implemented across the 36 states of Nigeria, the FCT inclusive. But the major objective of the CARES program is to ensure that families and households that were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, live better lives going forward. And the federal government, in its magnanimity, approached the World Bank, and the World Bank acceded to this intervention, and we've been trying to put things in place to see how the vulnerable ones in our society, the poor, the needy, would be able to be assisted to live better lives, even with this COVID-19 pandemic impact. And so they have created 3 result areas we created, and one of them is to touch the lives of the very, very poor in the society. Then for the DLI 1.1, it has to do with social transfers, where funds will be transferred to the weak, to the sick, and so on and so forth. Then for 1.2, has to do with engagement of youth for labor-intensive public works. Again, for those people who have the stamina and energy and are roaming about the place and don't have anything to do, they will be adequately engaged. If you're familiar with the C4 program, that is how it's going to be packaged. That's how it will be packaged. Then we have the livelihood grants to economically active household members. Livelihood grants, of course, will be trained on specific trades, and thereafter equipment will be given, not necessarily bought for them. They will be able to identify and get for themselves, and extra funds will be given to them to activate their businesses. Then 1.4 has to do with provision of basic service infrastructure to communities. There are some communities that lack basic amenities, and of course government cannot do everything at the same time. So this intervention is to meet up with some communities that are yet to be addressed. Provision of potable water, building of classroom blocks. Now we have the result area 2, which has to do with increasing food security and safe functioning of food supply chains. We have 4 disbursement link indicators in this area, and is being implemented by the FADAMA platform. Then for the results area 3, sir, is facilitating recovery and enhancing capabilities of small and medium enterprises. This one is geared at people who have small businesses, whose businesses are probably packed up as a result of the COVID-19 matter, and there are 3 DLIs to that. The World Bank has also requested that implementation readiness is key, because funds are going to be released, resources, human resources, and so on, must be qualified people that will be able to implement, because it's a quick win program, it's a 2-year program, performance for results. If you don't perform, you don't get results. So for that reason, we need to hit the ground running as soon as this intervention is declared effective by June 30th.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Curriculum Planning, Mr. Frankie Sume, had earlier received the team and briefed the delegation on the situation on ground before leading them to the SSG.
On behalf of the Ministry of Economic Planning first, and then the Delta CARES team, I want to welcome you to Asaba, the capital of Delta State. You've been here since yesterday, and I trust you may have experienced some little hospitality from us. If you have not in any way experienced, then just please let us know so that we can do a little bit more and meet your expectations. We are prepared, but we don't want to, personally, I would not want to go into the kind of preparations we've made for your visit. We want you to see for yourself what we have done and how ready we are for the implementation of the CARES program in Delta State. So on behalf of the team in Delta, I welcome you once more today.
The assessment of the 5-member State CARES Coordinating Unit in their secretariat began instantly. Their major critical areas were requisite qualifications and experience on World Bank-related projects among the staff, office space, and the condition, numbers of functional project vehicles, working tools, and the equipment, amongst others.
This is the Overseas Development Assistance Department complex.
Okay.
We house the C4 projects.
Okay.
We house EU, the EU program,
NDSP.
the NDSP program. So we just have them downstairs. So when they come, our partners say, okay, let us give them space. That's it's a 4 flats.
Yeah.
So this has been the office of the director, myself.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Goni Mala, a member of the federal team, advised them to provide leadership to other technical heads so as to facilitate the activities within the 2 years and for the state to gain from it, adding that the payment plan was programmed for result, PFR.
And then we gauge the competence. Yeah, we gauge the competence of the staff. Some are very vast. They know what is expected of them. They've studied the document, they are ready. While others are trying to catch up, while some are not there. And we recommended 1 or 2, especially one to be totally replaced, to be somebody competent, because he doesn't have the capacity to run that office. And then one other one, we recommended that there should be an assistant. She can deliver the job, but she needs somebody to backstop. That was where the other, like I said, the facilities, the equipment, table chairs, everything is all there. So today we started with the SCTU office, the State Cash Transfer Unit. Very well, the office space is very conducive. It's okay, but it seems the staff have not fully grasped what is coming. So there is a general lack of knowledge and awareness of what is happening, but that can be addressed by quick training. So from there we moved to the State Social Development Agency. We also interacted with the head of the agency, who met severally in Abuja, and the operations officer. Very capable woman. She understands what is coming, but it doesn't cascade down to the other officers. There is a general lack of knowledge about it, yes, which we also recommended. Even before we say it, the head said he will feel that he will try and conduct a thorough training for his staff, and I believe they'll be able to catch up.
He explained further that the state government owned the program and would fund its execution for a period of 6 months, after which the federal assessment team would verify if it had been effectively executed according to the laid-down rules before being reimbursed by the World Bank.
And if you don't even understand what PFAU is and he has no experience in World Bank projects, project financial management reporting is different from the normal government reporting. And you know that it is result-based, the LDA comes, the documentation is not done properly, you and I know that there will be no reimbursement. So it's better we tidy up that aspect. So,
the first delivery platform that was inspected was the Labor Intensive Public Workforce Unit, LIPW, headed by Engineer Chukwuma Ojei, who briefed the team of the readiness of the unit and the different facilities in place. He took the team to the communication unit, Monitoring and Evaluation Unit, Procurement Unit, Account Unit, Audit Unit, and others to ascertain the availability of required equipment and verification of active designated bank accounts for the program. On Friday, June 18, 2021, being the second day of the visit, the team inspected the Social Cash Transfer Unit, where Mrs. Modupe Osharode is the head of the technical unit. She spoke extensively about the level of the job done so far by the unit and later took the team to visit the other sub-units. A member of the federal team, Mrs. Mercy Abdullahi, charged the staff to be fully aware that the program was an emergency one for 2 years, noting that training of staff would certainly be difficult considering the short period of the program. She said that experienced staff would be needed in speedily delivery on the job to achieve the expected goals. The federal team were also received same day by the State CARES Steering Committee Chairman, Dr. Baribe, at the conference hall of the Olorogun Felix Ibru State Secretariat in Asaba. Others in the steering committee who were in attendance during the visit included the Delta State Chief Job and Wealth Creation Bureau Chief, Professor Eric Abel, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Mr. Cornelius Semiteje, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Economic Planning, Mr. Frank Isume, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, Mrs. Kewe Agas, representing her ministry, and the Secretary of the Committee and Coordinator, Delta Cares, Mrs. Patience Ogbewe. Representatives from the State Accountant General's Office, Auditor General, Procurement Office, Ministry of Environment, and the Directorate of Security and Political, including the different heads of the delivery platforms, also attended the meeting. Dr. Bay confirmed that the visit of the federal team to the SSG was eventful and encouraged the team to supervise and advise thoroughly in the course of the assessment exercise. He also disclosed that the state government had put everything in place for the commencement of the program in the state and had fully domesticated the DCARES, called the OKOA program, for touching lives in the state.
I'm happy to be here this afternoon to be part of a meeting to host the team that has come from Abuja to see how prepared we are with respect to the NCARES program. It's a journey that started May 2020 when His Excellency, after finishing up from the meeting, the National Economic Council meeting, where the presentation was made on the program, called that there is need for us to immediately set up a steering committee. And we had to first know the criteria for picking members of the steering committee, and then we started the journey of setting up the steering committee and other structures that today has manifested in what we call the DCARES of Delta State. So I'm happy to be here today. I have been following up on every bit of your entry meetings. I'm aware you have met with the SSG, and then our apologies. I know we tried to also fix a courtesy call so that you meet with His Excellency, which wasn't possible. But I was told that the meeting with the SSG was very, very successful, and we're all happy. And it's on record that the state has received the team well into its activities or meetings with the technical aspects of the program.
Responding, Mrs. Adepeju revealed that so far, the state had shown some forms of readiness towards the implementation of the program.
So far, so good. We started the assignments. And according to the state, secretary to the state government, that the basis is both assessment and advisory. We've noticed one or two things that we would like to chip in as recommendation to be followed in order to make Delta State readiness and ready to access the World Bank loan. The World Bank loan in general is 750 million, of which 20 million is coming to Delta State. Observation in the staffing accommodation, that is office accommodation, and interaction with the heads of units were keenly observed, of which we have some little recommendation to make so that there will not be any lapses by the time World Bank itself will be coming to reassess the state.
The Livelihood Support Unit was another point of call with Chief Isioma Okonta as the technical head. He welcomed the team to his office and gave details of level of preparedness. He took the team to the operation officer and other sub-unit staff who comprehensively explained some specific issues relating to the generic manual of the NG Cares. The technical head was advised to work on some of his staff so as to meet the World Bank accounting standards.
I want to welcome you to Delta State. I want to welcome you to the Government House at Asaba. I want to welcome you to the Livelihood Support Unit of the NG Cares and DCares program of the World Bank. We are excited. We are ready to work. We have been ready and waiting for this moment. So we are glad that you are here. So whatever questions or inquiries that you want to make, we are here to provide you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So all starting from the head down to the top. We are to know about the qualifications that brought them aboard. At the same time, working to relationship between head and the staff. At the same time, we have to assess the equipment, how spacious the offices are.
Again, the delegation were in the office of the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, which covers Result Area 3 with 3 delivery-linked indicators, DLIRs, of provision of conditional grants to SMEs, and supporting adoption of digital payments. The federal team appreciated the office spacing and equipment within the unit, but charged the head of operations, Mr. Abel Age, to quickly improvise ways for his staff to effectively understand their work properly through operational manuals. Fadama is in charge of Result Area 2 with 4 delivery-linked indicators of provision of agricultural inputs and services, provision of labor-intensive agricultural infrastructure, provision of agricultural assets for production and upgrading wet markets. On Saturday, June 20, 2021, the team attended to the Community Development Social Implementation Unit, headed by Mrs. Akohuaro Orubu, with delivery-linked indicator on community and group investments. Mrs. Orubu briefed the team on the various activities the office had executed in the past and readiness to also implement the DCares program effectively. The subunit in the office was also visited. At the end of the inspection, there was a debriefing at the State Cares Coordinating Unit Secretariat, where all the heads of the technical unit met again with the 3-member Federal Assessment and Advisory Team. After much deliberation, Mrs. Adikpeju declared that Delta State Government was satisfactorily ready to implement the COVID-19 CARES program in the state.
Yes, based on the assessment so far, Delta is ready. Yes. but we have some few recommendations, and we believe the state will be able to effect those recommendations before we even get back to Abuja.